Hello everyone, I'm Raji, committee member of ICSI Singapore Overseas Center. We have gathered here for a very special discussion on a topic that holds immense importance, the bilateral ties between India and Singapore. Allow me to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. T. Prabhakar, First Secretary Commerce at the High Commission of India, Singapore. With his wealth of expertise and experience in commerce, Mr. Prabhakar, a perfect person to enlighten us about the intricate relationship between India and Singapore in terms of trade and commerce. A big round of applause for Mr. T. Prabhakar, please. With his knowledge and expertise in business, make him the perfect person to guide us through the detail of how India and Singapore work together. For this, I would like to call Mr. B. Narasimhan, President of ICSI Singapore, to welcome Mr. T. Prabhakar with the planter, please. A big round of applause, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Prabhakar, for taking time for us. So we are here from India, a lot of people from ICSI India, and thank you very much for your time here. Let's dive into our discussion on India and Singapore bilateral ties and explore the avenue for future collaboration and the growth.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for having me here. I was a little late for that AI discussion. It was a very healthy fusion of excellent ideas and minds. During the course of, I came during the fag end of the discussion. So what I feel is this sort of papers, the law, rules and regulations which are evolving should really reach out to the youngsters, the technocrats, to the engineering colleges, so that they also get totally enriched and they get imbibed into those laws, rules and regulations. Perhaps that was a point of a discussion during your panel discussion, which I am not aware of. So you can try to have this in your agenda. Perhaps you can convince the government to have a separate paper so that the youngsters to get to know what this is really, what the law is, instead of merely being technocrats trying to understand only the technicalities of the papers. So the topic, I don't know, given the profile of the audience, which I happen to have a cursory look, you may be quite familiar with the India-Singapore relations and ties. It's not something new. Perhaps I'll try to do justice to the topic which was given to me. Distinguished professionals and practitioners of the legal compliance, regulatory and financial industry from India and Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning and a very warm welcome to you all. I would first like to begin by congratulating the Institute of Company Secretaries of India on the smooth and seamless conduct of the third international conference on the theme Building Resilient and Sustainable Economies. It gives me immense pleasure to speak on India-Singapore bilateral ties at this prestigious conference jointly organized by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and the ICSI Overseas Center, Singapore. Today I stand before you with a sense of profound optimism as we delve into the transformative potential of India-Singapore bilateral ties and trade relations. The close ties between India and Singapore have a history rooted in strong commercial, cultural, and people-to-people links across a millennium. Our relationship with Singapore is a strategic alliance forged on the principles of mutual respect, trust, and shared aspirations. Over the years, we have witnessed this bond evolve into a powerhouse of economic cooperation, driving innovation, prosperity, and sustainable growth across borders. Singapore stands as one of India's most valued trading partners, being India's largest trading partner in the Asian region and a crucial gateway to the dynamic markets of the Southeast Asia. Our bilateral relations have evolved significantly, transcending traditional boundaries and encompassing various sectors including trade, investment, technology, and culture. Despite headwinds in the global economy, it's heartening to note that the trade between our nations have continued to thrive, with both countries benefiting immensely from this mutual beneficial exchange. In recent years, both countries have been diversifying their engagement beyond traditional sectors, and we have been venturing into uncharted territories of innovation and entrepreneurship. From fintech to biotech, smart cities to sustainable development, healthcare and renewable energy, where both India and Singapore possesses unique strengths and expertise. This has resulted in further strengthening of our mutual relationship. The testimony to this relationship is the inaugural meeting of the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable in 2022, which provided an ambitious roadmap for strengthening the strategic partnership between our two nations. ISMR, that is India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable, identified 5 key areas of collaboration between both the countries. They are food cooperation, digitalization, energy and green economy, skills development, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. Since the first round of ISMR, we saw some landmark developments in the area of cross-border fintech, namely the linking of the real-time digital payment systems of India, that is UPI, and Singapore Pay Now. The Pay Now UPI linkage continues to facilitate trade and people-to-people links between the two countries. Both the countries have also facilitated a pilot shipment involving digital exchange of bill of lading through a trusted trade framework. This showed that this digitalization can improve speed, efficiency, and accuracy of the information of shipment transactions. What happens in this case is normally we in India or globally when it comes to import and export, we exchange manual bills of lading. So this manual bills of exchange of lading has been done away with the trusted trade framework. It's more of a blockchain technology where it provides efficiency, accuracy of information, and it reduces the transaction time and cost. This we have run as a pilot, and we are to scale it up in the days to come. Skill development has emerged as another key pillar of the strategic partnership between India and Singapore. World-class skill centers have been established in Assam, Odisha, and Delhi with technical assistance from Singapore. The transition from the high to low carbon economy will involve a profound rewiring of the global economy, birthing whole new industries. India is at the forefront of this transition, growing new sectors from renewable energy to biofuel. There are opportunities for Singaporean business in areas such as solar power, wind energy, and green technology. Union Cabinet has approved National Green Hydrogen Mission with the expected deliverables by 2030. The demand creation incentives and partnership in industries are expected to give a kickstart to the Indian green hydrogen industry. Discussions are ongoing to collaborate on a green hydrogen supply chain from India to Singapore and rest of Asia, including common hydrogen related regulations and standards and hydrogen research. Singapore has also made significant strides in green economy and infocom technology. Jobs in AI, machine learning are highly sought after here as Singapore commits to the digital economy with strategic partnerships and initiatives exploring the potential of technology such as AI and business digitalization. You might be aware of CECA, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement that exists between India and Singapore. This was signed in 2005 between India and Singapore. Since then, bilateral trade has grown immensely. We started off with $6.7 billion at the time of signing of CECA, and now it has grown to 35.6 billion in the year 2022-23. Our imports from Singapore for the financial year 22-23 was 23.6 billion, and exports to Singapore was 12 billion. Further, Singapore is India's 8th largest partner with a share of 3.1% of India's overall trade. In terms of India's exports, Singapore is our 6th largest export destination in the world. And in terms of imports into India, Singapore is the 8th largest source of India globally for the year 22-23. It is not only in merchandise trade that India-Singapore ties are growing. FDI equity inflows into India from Singapore during 22-23 stood at $17.2 billion. Singapore has been the largest source of FDI into India for the past 3 years. The cumulative FDI inflows from Singapore to India stood at US dollar 155.612 billion from April 2000 to December 2023, accounting for almost 23% of the total FDI flows into India. Singapore is also amongst the largest source of external commercial borrowing for India, and foreign portfolio investment from Singapore has been extremely important for India. On the other hand, the cumulative outbound Indian FDI into Singapore stood at 87.498 billion from January 2008 to January 2024. Singapore also has a significant Indian diaspora, and it is therefore no surprise that many Indian businesses have established bases in Singapore. About 8,000 Indian companies are registered in Singapore, including 6 public sector units and 9 banks. On the other hand, more than 440 companies from Singapore are registered in India. 2 Singaporean banks, Enterprise Singapore, Economic Development Board, and Singapore Tourism Board all have offices in India. To conclude, I would like to state that India is entering an exciting phase in its history. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has described that India will achieve developed economy status by 2047. Singapore, being a business and investor friendly country in the world, will continue to be a valued friend and partner in India's journey. Thank you, and wish you all a very fruitful discussion during the course of these 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prabhakar, for thoughtful insights. We would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to Mr. T. Prabhakar for accepting our invitation and sharing his valuable insight with us. To extend our appreciation, I would like to invite Mr. Nitesh Chandan, Chairman of Singapore ICSI, to give the memento as a way of appreciation, please. Big round of applause, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Prabhakar.